Good afternoon. At the onset, let me thank the organizing committee of AMOX for inviting me here. So the first 4 points I will cover in half the time, in 6 minutes, and rest of the 6 minutes I will talk about the recent evidence. In the beginning, let me thank my parent institute, GS Medical College and KEM Hospital, and our teacher, Dr. Usha Krishna, for her guidance. Now, what is the magnitude of this problem? You all will agree with me that the problem of repeated miscarriages is huge. There are many causes, but as the last line suggests, 50 to 60% of couples it is unexplained, and still we don't know what is the cause, and here the problem can be alloimmune. Similar problem is with ART. Implantation is an inefficient process, and implantation failure in ART is as high as 40 to 60%, majority of which can be still unexplained. So we are stuck with a huge number of couples with this problem, and it is estimated that approximately 10% of women with IVF treatment also experience recurrent IVF failures. So yes, the problem is huge. Is there any possibility of reproductive immunology disturbances in these cases? So we come to my next point, why we should consider immunomodulation in these patients. All of you are aware about our immune system, which protects us from whatever attacks our body by a complex system of cells, cytokines, and tissues, which protects us from whatever foreign invader which comes in our body. But this strong immune system is overcome during pregnancy without any reaction against pregnancy, and pregnancy continues without any problem. So this is achieved because of a balance in the immune system between the activation and the tolerance, and the activation is important to protect us from the deleterious effects, and tolerance is required to protect us from our this immune system attacking our own cells or pregnancy. So this balance is very important, and when this balance is disturbed, we get problems. Because fetus is, as you know, is a semi-allograft. 50% is different from mother, but in spite of this, it continues without any hassle. Even if it is donor egg, donor embryo, donor sperm, there is no problem. So this is really a paradox of pregnancy. And this is a complex mechanism which occurs at the feto-maternal interface. And when there is allorecognition, and there is formation of Treg cells, favorable cytokines protecting pregnancy, and also from the trophoblast side there is HCG, PIBF, which protects the pregnancy through Treg cells. And if this allorecognition doesn't occur, the exactly opposite thing happens. Th17 cells are more, Th1 response is more, leading to destruction of pregnancy. On the trophoblast side, you see low HCG, low PIBF, and there is a miscarriage. So yes, immunomodulation or immunological problem exists. But how will we know in which cases we look for this problem? How will we select couples for immunomodulation? For that, we have to rule out all known factors. This can be achieved by a few tests. There is a big list of tests, but we use these 4 tests to select couples for immunomodulatory treatment. One is lymphocyte cross-match, natural killer cells in the peripheral blood, natural killer cells in the endometrial cavity, and a cytokine serum TNF-alpha. Lymphocyte cross-match is an lymphocyte is the anti-paternal antibody detection. It measures the amount of antibody that reacts with the protein of paternal lymphocytes, and a negative cross-match makes the couple fit for immunomodulatory treatment. The natural killer cells in the peripheral blood are estimated. There are cells with various markers. The CD3, high CD3 and a low CD16 plus 56 has been shown to be associated with recurrent implantation failure and miscarriages. Recent studies have also shown that patients with idiopathic recurrent miscarriages have abnormally high TGF-beta NK cells in the peripheral blood, and there is a strongly decreased TGF transforming growth factor beta and IL-10 in plasma levels, leading to underlying the disbalance of immune system which occurs in these patients. Endometrial NK cells also can be estimated in these patients to select couples for immunomodulation, where endometrial biopsy is done in luteal phase. Endometrium is sent in formalin for immunohistochemistry for CD57 type of cells, and presence of CD57 indicates alloimmune problem. Estimation of inflammatory cytokine TNF-alpha also helps us in these patients, and a raised level of TNF-alpha is a cause for patient undergoing repeated miscarriages or IVF failures. And studies have shown that patients with multiple IVF failures, there is invariably they have raised levels of cytokine serum TNF-alpha. So we know which patients to select for immunomodulation. How we will do this immunomodulation? So that is also known as immunotherapy. There are various ways by which immunomodulation can be achieved, some of which we already practice routinely in our day-to-day work, but I would like to stress on a few which has been studied in detail, and the first of which is lymphocyte immunization therapy, because this was the first immunomodulatory treatment that was used for patients who had repeated pregnancy loss. It's a daycare procedure. Timing is not related to menses. The procedure, it involves collection of blood from husband and wife, and lymphocytes are separated and injected in wife. The couple is asked to plan pregnancy 4 to 6 weeks after the therapy within 1 year, and a booster dose is, if required, can be given. There are no side effects. We have been associated with close to 1,000 LITs, and there has been no major side effects. If it is so good, then why it is not used by everyone? And yes, here we have to go back to 1999, where there was a study by Ober, which was a huge study from US, where it concluded that, and the study was in Lancet, and it concluded that patients who were treated with LIT, in the control group, the success was more, 65, compared to the success in the treatment group, and therefore it recommended against lymphocyte therapy. However, later on it was found out that this study had a lot of flaws. This is the only study till today which has shown negative effect on the effect of LIT, and the preparation of lymphocyte was not proper. The blood was stored, which reduced the immunomodulatory effect of lymphocytes. The patient with autoimmunity were not excluded from this trial. So in short, this trial was not the right one, but the subsequent Cochrane reviews were based on this trial, and which recommended us not to use immunomodulation in patients who had repeated miscarriages or IVF failure. So I would, in a minute, I would like to go through the Cochrane meta-analysis, which showed an odds ratio of 1.22, which indicated against the use of this therapy. But if this meta-analysis is redone without Ober study, the odds ratio increases to 1.4. And later on, when more studies had come in 2016, when a meta-analysis was done, including all those trials plus newer trials, it showed a success rate or odds ratio of 4, which definitely proved the efficacy of lymphocyte immunization therapy. Even in 17, Cavalcante did further meta-analysis, including Ober study, and it showed a huge success rate or odds ratio of 3, which definitely indicated that lymphocyte immunization therapy is useful. There was an article in 2019, a very good study, where the patients with repeated miscarriages were selected, those who were lymphocyte cross-match negative, and they were put into 4 groups. One was only alloimmune problem, second was with thrombophilia, third was with autoimmune problem, and fourth was with the other 2, because always there is a bias that this patient may have other problems. So, and each group was divided into 2. One was given LIT, the other was not given LIT, and the result was astonishing. The LIT group had a success rate of 60% compared to non-LIT group of 33%, so which showed that definitely LIT is useful in patients who have repeated implantation failure and repeated pregnancy loss with a p-value of less than 0.001. There is further study in 2018, which was about the predictors of success of LIT, and this also showed that increasing age, if the patient's age is more, patient has autoimmune problem, thrombophilia problem, or the number of miscarriages is less, then the chances of LIT failing are more. So it means that with more the number of miscarriages, more likely the problem is alloimmune, and lymphocyte immunization therapy and other immunomodulation will be useful. So there is one more study I would like you to know, because the role of other immunomodulatory agents in patients who have repeated miscarriages and repeated implantation failures by McKinnon, and it showed progesterone has modest benefit with odds ratio of 1.3. TNF antagonists with low dose aspirin with heparin has a live birth rate of 71%. GCSF had a success rate of 82%. Intralipids had a successful pregnancy rate of 52%, while the pregnancy chances of continuing the pregnancy was as high as 91%. Use of prednisolone alone showed an odds ratio of 8, so which underlined the importance of prednisolone in these patients with RIF and RPL. And prednisolone with immunoglobulin also showed excellent results. So immunoglobulin alone has been shown to be useful in these patients with repeated pregnancy loss or implantation failures, and IVIG has its own side effects. So we have been using intramuscular immunoglobulin which has similar action but less of side effects, and as the preparation that we use is of course Bharglow. So friends, the role of immunomodulation is significant. It is the role of immunomodulation abnormalities in the pathogenesis of unexplained repeated miscarriages and implantation failure has been proven, and it raises the need to demonstrate that the efficacy of immunomodulatory drugs define the patient subset who will be benefited. It is very important. We have to select patients who will be benefited, and definitely we will see good results. Our center, which provides this treatment, also a couple of studies I will share. We have 96 couples with RPL with success rate of 82%, 65 couples with recurrent implantation failure had a clinical pregnancy rate of 73% and live birth rate of 67%. And an ongoing study which we are doing with a single chain of IVF centers, 61 couples have been given LIT at the successful pregnancy in 32, that is the 80% success rate. The number is small. In next 1 year we will have right figures. So the take-home message, friend, here, the recurrent miscarriages or recurrent implantation failures, especially unexplained, rule out all known causes, consider alloimmune factor as a possible thing, don't leave the patient to nature, do immunological tests. Immunomodulatory treatment can be given with lymphocyte immunization therapy, plan pregnancy within 1 year of it, and use immunomodulatory medications once the patient conceives, and I am sure it will prove that immunotherapy is the missing link in the treatment of RPL. This is our patient with 15 miscarriages who has been benefited. So I would like to end with a statement from Dr. Peter Medawer, the father of reproductive immunology, and he said, the purpose of science is to change belief. If you believe that infertility, implantation failure, repeated miscarriages are God's will, and nothing can be done about it and cannot be treated scientifically, then you will never try to look for new solutions. I am thankful to our mentors, Dr. Caroline Coulomb, Quack Kim, Dr. Manoj Pandey,
really
Dr. Christiansen, and my wife, Dr. Mugdha, who is the member of Education Committee of American Society of Reproductive Immunology, for her guidance and support. And thank you
so
for
much, sir.
the extra minute.
Thank you, sir.